Hi, everyone. Be Made Well family. We got a special guest on today. I'm so excited about it. We met each other, I don't know if it's been almost a year or so ago, and we definitely connected. And so I'm glad to say that I have her on here today with us to share her testimony with everyone. It's definitely powerful. I mean, it's, when you meet, you kind of connect with certain people, and me and her definitely had a connection. It's definitely something about being in connection and partnership with others. It definitely makes a difference. Everyone has the same goal and purpose, and the results will be great. And so I'm just excited for everyone to hear. And I know that it's going to bless someone hearing her story, her testimony of hope, and because that's what it's about. And that's why here on Be Made Well Ministries Outreach, we always offer the opportunity for others to share their testimony because it's definitely important. It even tells us in Revelation 12 and 11 that they are triumphs over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink to death. And so we definitely need to share with others every chance we get. And so I thank God that she was obedient to that. And we chatted about some things even before we got on here, and it definitely just brought even more things together. It amazes me how God does and just puts things together, even through what we go through in life, that really all of those pieces were put together to create who we are and who we become and moving forward in our growth and everything like that. It even tells us in 2 Corinthians that his grace is sufficient for us, and strength is made perfect in our weakness. And so we're definitely grateful for that, to know that even in our weaknesses or whatever, that there's strength, because like we say, they created us to be who we are. And Psalms 37 says that delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. And so after that, it's just a done deal. You continue to grow, you continue to flow, you continue to just live this life according to the way that we should. And so without saying any more, I'm going to go ahead and release it over to Hilary, and she's going to share with us today what she is going to share. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's honestly an honor and a blessing to be here. Um, so so many blessings to start with. I My name's Hilary. I grew up in California. Spent some time in Tennessee. Now back in Tennessee, and being born into the lovely family that I was born into came with a lot of triumphs and struggles, and the whole thing that family comes with. I actually, from because of my family, I was born deaf. It's genetic in my family. It skips a generation, and so I got blessed with that one. And when I was about, I want to say almost 2 years old, was when we found out that I had some hearing issues, and so my mom, her parents were deaf, so that's where it comes from. Her first language was sign language, so she already was prepared and knew how to handle it. Immediately, she went to our primary care doctor and said, I need an ENT specialist like now. And he's like, no, you need to go through the proper channels. You need to go through me, and I need to transfer you over. And she's like, no, no, no. I pay a PPO for a reason. I want my specialist. Give me a name. And so she finally found Dr. Kearns down in Children's of San Diego and did some hearing tests on me, came back positive that I had a substantial amount of hearing loss, and it was genetic. So with that, I was blessed with a speech impediment. I had trouble saying the letter R. It sounded like a W or an O. Nobody could understand me. And I got made fun of like it was going out of style. Like they just couldn't get enough of it. With that, I couldn't say my name, Hilary. My middle name's Victoria. Last name Schreiber. It's in every single name. I could not run from it. And I was offered to do speech therapy, and I declined it and said, no, this is who I am. God made me this way, and like I will strive through it. And there's, makes me different and unique. And I like, that's my biggest thing, is to be different and unique, because we are all similar, but we are all different. Embrace your uniqueness. And so I was basically a mute until I was 18 years old. I found out that, learned how to say my name properly. In the midst of that, my parents decided they were splitting up the night before I turned 16. So I was like, oh, happy birthday. Finding out your parents are divorcing. And I was like, well, that's not the worst that's happened. About a year later, I had some memories I had locked out from my childhood that started to flooding back. And as things were flooding back, pieces to the puzzle were starting to come back together. And turns out my memories I had was of me being raped by my grandfather from the ages of 2 to 7. And he was smart, very smart about it. My mom, at 7 years old, after all this came out, she told me that she had a rape kit done on me at 7. And I was like, and let me guess, it came back negative. She goes, how did you know? And I said, because at that time, that's the year 2000, born in 93, they weren't up to date on rape kits, to say. So they did a vaginal swab, which came back negative, because I was not raped vaginally. I was raped the other way. So, and I told her that, and she was just like, oh my goodness, I tried. And I said, no, you doing the rape kit saved me, because he stopped. Like, and she's like, I knew something was going on. I didn't know what it was. I couldn't place it. And so I was like, it's not your fault. It's nobody's fault. Like, if I blame anybody, I'm not blaming him, but it would be God, because he's the one who has control over stopping it. And but that's my life path. He allowed it to happen so I can gain from it. And because of that, I wasn't blind to the world. Like, the world was shown to me, Satan was shown to me from the get-go. Like, there was nothing hiding. And it honestly, like, I'd rather knowing what I know than being naive going through life. Like, oh no, people don't do that. No, people do it.
That's right.
People do it. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, you can't stop them. People will do whatever they feel fit to satisfy themselves and their needs. And that happened. And my mom's like, okay, well, she ended up confronting him after I said, when you call someone out for something like that, you kind of want to get the full story. So her and my dad went over to my grandfather's house and was like, hey, so Hilary said that, XYZ that you did, is she telling the truth, or like, what's the deal? And he looked at both my parents, said, it only happened once, no damage was done. My mom came home and told me that, and I was just like, what do you mean no damage was done? Like, how can you say that? Like, I'm 17 at this point. Like, how can you say that? Like, I'm a child. And so then Mom was like, well, we could press charges. And I was like, no. She's like, why don't you want to press charges? I don't want to press charges because I don't want him to go through what I went through. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. I don't wish ill on anybody. Like, I don't. I'm too soft, you can say, or something. I don't know. But I don't, because I know what it feels like. Why would I want to punish somebody else? Like, why? Like, Jesus dying on the cross. Like, I'm not comparing or anything like that. I understand why you don't want anybody else up there, because you already endured all that pain. Like, why would you want to put that on the people you love? Type of thing. And so it's like, I understand why the sacrifice that he did, because of, life choices that were made to me, not, and all that. So then after that was when I moved back to Tennessee my senior year, because I was like, I'm getting away. I moved in with my best friend and her family at 17 years old. My mom, shortly after, moved out to Tennessee from California. And at that point, she thought I was going to commit suicide. And so I was like, no, I don't. I just felt nothing.
No.
My whole world got turned upside down. With me coming out with my grandfather raping me and everything, hit my dad. So it was my dad's dad. His side of the family called me a liar, said it never happened, turned their backs on me, and walked away. So because of my grandfather's decisions at this point, however many years ago, at that point it was 10 years prior, destroyed the family. And I'm the one to blame. So I was just like, no, I don't need them. I don't need like that family. I have my siblings, I have my mom and my dad. That's all I need. Period. I don't like, if they want to be in my life, great. If they don't, that's on them. And so then in almost 2011, so at the end of 2010, moved back to California because my mom thought I was going to commit suicide in Tennessee. And so that when we moved back, I happened to move a mile away from where my grandfather lived. And we were there for about 6 years. In 2014, on Independence Day, I apologize, 2016, July 4th, 2016, my grandfather passed. So Independence Day to me went on a whole nother level because I was like, oh, cool, rape is gone. I have freedom. And I never pressed charges because I didn't want him to go through what I went through in prison. And I also believe that God has another path. And due to that, I said, I don't need to take care of him. God will handle him for me.
That's right.
And I don't need to get revenge. Like, I mean, family members were heated that they're like, we'll just go burn his house down. And I'm like, I don't need that on my conscience. I don't need anything on my conscience. Just like, let him live. He's older. Like, let him live out the rest of his life. And so it was 6 years later, he died of what I believe testicular cancer that went up into his lungs. So he died of a horrible death. So I'm like, God really got my back on that one. Because of that, I don't seek out revenge because I know God's going to come in and do the
That's
revenge.
right. That's
no
right.
matter what, no matter who does anything to me, what is said about me, what is said to me, God will handle that person. I just need to pull myself out of that situation.
Right.
I'm like, what
You
is
set the boundary? Yeah.
Right. What is getting back at him or getting back at whoever did me wrong? What is that going to do? That's just going to go pettiness, and we're just going to go back at each other's throats. And no, the best thing to do is just to leave each other's lives completely.
And it's scriptural because it talks about, leave the wrath for the Lord, and vengeance is his. And so you're definitely on point with that, because I was going to ask, he really had an opportunity to apologize. Did he ever come and apologize?
So this is where yes and no. He emailed my sister a few times, and I came across a text from my dad was sitting next to me in the car. His phone was down face up, and I saw a text from his dad to him saying, I messed up. I really just want to apologize. Can I apologize? And my dad just looked at it. So he wanted to apologize, but I had already forgiven him.
Yeah, there you go.
I never blamed him. Never. When someone is an attacker,
they were attacked. Yeah,
they were either attacked or there's a loose wire in the brain somewhere. God doesn't make mistakes.
There you go.
So I'm assuming that he was a victim himself. So why would you punish a victim for being a victim? They don't know any other way to love. Maybe that's the only way he knew how to love. He didn't know.
I was going to say that because, like you said, I actually wrote it down. I said, do they know if it was done to him? Because, like you said, it's just a repeat until somebody breaks it. you know,
Right.
so like we can it could have been done to you and you could have repeated it, but you broke it. You see what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
so, like you said, 9 times out of 10, it was done to him.
Mhm.
But for you to, the forgiving part, that's where you were able to move on with your life, because if you
Mhm.
did, it would keep you behind. And so my next question then I would have is, so like you said, it happened from this age to this age. What made you feel that you couldn't say anything at, a younger age
Younger
until it
age.
haunted you, until you're 17 years old and it was still there and you had to literally heal and be delivered from that. So what took you so long? Or, like, you didn't say anything about after the first time, what would you say about something like that?
I didn't know that it was wrong
Okay.
until I was
Yeah.
older, and I blocked out I'm still I'm 29 years old, still trying to figure out, because I blocked out so much of my childhood that my
Hmm.
family would be talking about these trips that we did, and I'm like, I
Don't
you know,
remember.
I don't, I
Wow.
really don't, and they're just like, but Hilary, you were there, and I'm like, I don't, I just don't remember
Wow.
it. And like I sit there and I'm like, I know I was there, I know kind of what they're talking about, I remember kind of doing something like that, but I can't sit there and be like 100% that's a memory, because I've
Hmm.
blocked out so much and so hard, and the only person, there's two people that can unlock that, me and God, and we
Hmm.
have to be in sync for that to happen. And I don't I don't feel like he feels I'm ready for all that. When
Right.
he feels I'm ready was when that part of it will sync up, and he'll be like, here, Hilary, this is what you've been missing. And
Hmm.
you're ready and mature enough to handle it. So
Right. Right.
everything that has gone on in my life, even from being born deaf, fighting that, to fighting against being like assaulted sexually,
Hmm.
to being a teenage girl, like
Right.
like it's just like, you can imagine everything that you'd be going through, parents divorcing, going back and forth
Hmm.
between Tennessee, California, like it's a lot to, and especially in high school, you're like, you know what, you just go with the flow. All you can do
Right.
is say, God, it's all yours, I'm here,
Right.
tell me what I need to do.
Right.
And he's just like, just be patient, patient.
Right.
And because of him, I have so much patience. It's
Yeah.
his patience. When you have God's patience, you have more patience than a monk, dude.
Right. But like, we were saying in the beginning, like even all of these things, like you said, they put the pieces together and to see now what, you've grown and the creation, what you were created to be. I mean, I always say I don't take anything back, even if it was trauma, it was this, it was that. I don't take it back because it helped me be who I am. Like you said, you wouldn't, like now, like when people show you who they are, you believe them. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
back in the day, we
absolutely.
might have been like, I know for me, like it was like, well, you want to see the positive in everybody,
Oh
right?
yeah.
You want to see, the great, but if they're just evil and mean, they're really just evil and mean. You got to see them for what they are. You can't try to make the positive side come out if it's not going to come out. It's just going to hurt you
Exactly.
more. So that even built up, even that part in you, I
Mhm.
would say as well,
So there's a saying my mom said to me that she learned from her. They called her Big Mama. My mom's family's from the South, so they have a little bit of a Southern um, hospitality, Southern like mentality, all of that. So, and my dad's from the West Coast, like, so
Hmm.
kind of brought a little two in one. It's definitely a different dynamic, but so her, I believe grandmother, her family's a little confusing on her end, but she said that you can always find the beauty in the ugly.
Mm.
Like there's an ugly situation, but there's always a beautiful positive lesson
Mm.
in that ugly situation.
Hmm.
And she's like, but also it works the same on the other end. There's always ugly in the beauty.
Mm.
It's a yin and yang, pull, push, there's
Right.
positive and negative in every situation.
Hmm.
Like you can, if you want to go down music, the only person that I kind of bring up that everybody knows is Beyonce.
Mhm,
Not to
mhm.
go secular or anything, but
Right.
Beyonce could put on. She's been doing it for decades, right?
Mhm.
And she could put on the best show ever to the public. Her fans are like, that beat the Super Bowl, or that beat
Mhm.
the Grammys, or that beat whatever concert she put on, right? But in her mind, she's like, I messed up here, I messed up there. They were off here, they were
Right.
off there. And it's like, that's just how it works. Because
Mhm.
there is no perfect performance. There's no perfect beauty. There's Jesus Christ, and that's all you get. Which
Right,
is more than
right,
enough.
right,
But like,
right.
there's always a lesson in the struggle.
Mhm.
100%. Like, I couldn't even order my own food until I was 18 years old. I would whisper it to
Wow,
my family and they would order for me no matter what.
wow.
It was
Mhm.
just so hard back then because I was just like, and yet I played softball and I was a catcher. So I
Wow.
had to yell. So I would yell
Mhm.
on the field, but if I got personal with people, that's when it got, pretty bad. I mean, middle school asked me, yo, where are you from?
Mhm.
Never seen you before, never met you before, and you sound like you're from New York.
Right. Oh, we lost her. Let's see. Oh, there you
There,
are.
I was just like, no, I'm from California. I went to this
Mhm.
elementary school. And now I'm at this middle school. They're like, no, you sound like you're from New York. And I'm like, I've
Mhm.
never been to New York a day in my life.
Yeah.
And to me, that's kind of scary because growing up, New York kind of has a bad rap until you go there and you're like, okay, that's a little different. But
Right.
like the news and everything kind of puts a bad rap on New York, and you're just like, okay. But even through until I moved to Tennessee, like I
Mhm.
was so I went off and got my degree in music after everything because what my grandfather did, my only escape was music because I can take
Yeah.
my CDs with me, I can take my Walkman with me. A lot of kids don't know
Mhm.
what a Walkman is, and I feel really
Mhm.
old.
Well, right.
But I could take it with me and like it can travel with me. I couldn't take a
Mhm.
TV with me. We didn't have smartphones back then. So I got really into music.
Mhm.
We had video games, like we had a Game Boy DS and all that. And I believe
Right.
the Switch was around at that point. But like I wasn't really into games. That didn't give me the outlet that I needed.
Mhm.
The leaving this world to another world was not happening unless I had
Right.
music. So I embedded myself into music. I watched every award show, knew every song, knew background on every artist, like understood everything that had to do with that genre, this year, what the
Mhm.
deal was. So like really embedded and researched into music. I literally they would have on Fuse TV about 7 or 8 hours on one artist. Usher,
Mhm.
Beyonce, Bruno Mars, Nicki Minaj, and I would sit and watch the 8 hours all the way through. And people are like, so I have an overabundance amount of information that I shouldn't have because I just would watch it. But it was the
Right.
only escape that I had, and because I'm all over the map. So if I go back to when I was 7, my grandfather stopped.
Mhm.
I almost committed suicide. I was
Mhm.
sitting on my bed and I looked up at the ceiling and I was like, nobody would notice if I left. Like they
Mhm.
just wouldn't know. Nobody would care. I mean, I didn't have any friends
Mhm.
because I was bullied and everything. And my brothers, they all had friends. My sister, she had friends. I was
Mhm.
just that one, that awkward one, whatever anybody wanted to call me. And um, for some reason, well, not for some reason,
Mhm.
I didn't do it because a song kicked on and God
Mm.
used this song to save
Yeah.
my life. And I
Wow.
didn't do it. So I embedded myself into music, got really into it. It was an Ashanti song. I'm really big into 2000s R&B.
Mhm.
Gotta love my Ashanti.
So were you 7 at the time, or you were older at that time? You were like
I was
16,
I
17.
was 7 when I wanted to commit suicide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
7
Wow.
years old. God stopped me. He saved me
Mm-hmm.
from doing that. I'm grateful for it because
Mm-hmm.
due to his graces, I have a nice story to tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then jumping forward, so that's why I got one of like the reasons I got really into music.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, for some reason it got turned down. So,
We can't see.
I'm frozen. I'm still here though, I promise.
Yeah, I hear you. So I think you just click. Let me see where it is that you fix it right now.
Let's see. No, it's
It
still
looks
here.
like you're trying to come back in.
Hmm.
I don't know if those three little dots will.
Oh, guys are. Oh. What? Say. Oh. There it goes.
Okay, there you go.
There it goes. I don't know how it fixed, but it fixed. Um. So, anyways, I ended up in my. What? How old was I? Right after my grandfather passed. I ended up going to music school, and within going to music school, a lot unlocked for me. And so I started to get a lot of memories unlocked, a lot of things, and I knew I was in the right spot because I went to school in Hollywood, and it was everything just felt right. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. When I get close to the end of my program, it was an 18-month program, close to the end of it, I meet the gentleman who produced the song by Ashanti that saved my life. his name is Seven. Mm-hmm. 7 is a reoccurring number in my life. My grandfather stopped at 7. I found out when I came out to my family at 17. The person who produced the beat to the song's name is 7. I was just like, God, your number is 7. So what are you trying to tell me? Like I can't get away from, well, not that I would want to get away from him, but so I was just like, okay, cool. So I'm in the right spot because I was meant to meet the man who saved my life. So I was able to release that part of what I was holding on to. Mm-hmm. And it was only by the grace of God, because I was going to cosmetology school before they closed their doors on me. And the day they closed their doors, I got a phone call from the music school saying, hey, we want you. And I was like, bet, I have to take it. So then after I graduated, I ended up moving to San Francisco, helped my cousin with her dog walking business, starting to take off. So I was like, yeah, you can use an extra hand. Sure. I just graduated college. Like, let's go have some fun. And so we had a blast up there until family drama happened. I moved back down to Los Angeles, and I got involved with some of the guys that I knew from college. They're starting a underground record label. And I said, okay, cool. I'll join. I know you guys pretty well. Got a rapport. I'll join. And they're like, perfect. We want you to be the executive assistant because you can talk the talk. You fit both worlds, the business world and the music world. We want you there. Cool. I can fit that shoe. Like that role, I can play both. Not a problem. And he goes, okay, awesome. So as things start to go with this label and everything, I start getting involved with one of the artists on the label. And so him and I, everything's cool in the beginning. He starts off. he starts off with everything that Jesus and watching Jesus videos, and so I'm like, cool. So you might be like the Christian I'm looking for, the man I'm looking for that God placed in front of me. You just happen to love music the way I do, and you love Jesus. Like, I don't have much requirements. I have high standards for a person, but I don't have much requirements. And so as things were going, we watched the Bible all the way through 2 times, and like I was just like, dude, this guy's perfect. Goes home, goes home for a week, comes back, and as soon as he comes back, I end up becoming Satan. I don't know what happened. I don't know anything. I assume he cheated while he was over there. I don't know. Every day we lived out of my car. We both had somewhere to stay, but we lived out of my car. I would open my mouth, he'd scream at me. You name it, devil, Satan, demon. I'm going to hell.
He came back like a new person.
And I'm just sitting there like, bro, I drive you to work. I drive myself to work. I work graveyard. You sleep in my car while I'm on graveyard. Like, we both sleep in my car when I have a bed, and I'm Satan. I pay for everything. I cater to you, and okay, you're just gonna you hate me. That's fine. And he would talk to me about wolves in sheep clothing, and he's like, keep an eye out for them. And I'm like, it sounds like you are them. Like, that's what it sounds like. So throughout this relationship, I was with him for 6 months, and majority of it feels like the whole 6 months I was Satan. That's what it feels like. A lot of emotional trauma that was put on me with that. And I just would pray. I'm like, God, you said, like, he was brought in my life for a reason. Like, what is his purpose? Because I know this is not how I'm supposed to be treated. And I know this is not how you want me to be treated. So what is my purpose with this man? And we were at his aunt's house one day, and mind you, the label I was with was out of Compton. His aunt lived in Watts. So neither areas are good areas for me to be in. Or just good areas in general. And so his aunt comes up to me one day, and this is like November 2019, and she looked at me, she goes, sweetheart, what is your name? I was like, what do you mean? She goes, what is your name? What did your mom and your dad name you? And I was like, Hilary. And she goes, so why am I hearing from somebody else that my nephew is calling you bitch? And I was like, no, she's like, it happened right outside my house at like 5 o'clock in the morning. This shouldn't be getting back to me. Don't worry, he's going to be handled, but you deserve better. She's like, I'm going to go up to his grandma. He's getting handled. I was like, oh, Lord, have mercy on this. Like, and so I pray some more. I'm like, God, what? My mom had just moved from California to Tennessee like a couple months prior. I'm like, God, where do you need me? Because clearly I'm not doing good enough here in California. Like, where do I need to go? And so he's like, I need you in Tennessee. I'm like, you need me back in Tennessee? He goes, yes, that's where I need you. Okay. So break up with my ex. I'm like, hey, bro.
There
okay. Sorry, I got another call. People want to talk to me today. I don't know why. So I end up breaking up with my ex and not making the smartest decision. I had a one-night stand with this one gentleman. And then I was like, okay, I'm out to Tennessee. That was like my last hurrah of California. I'm going to Tennessee. I'm changing my life, changing my ways. Yeah, just everything was changed. Right. 4 days after I got to Tennessee, on December 17th, 2019, I found out I was pregnant. And I was like, I'm glad I came to Tennessee, because if I stayed in LA, I probably would not be having a child. Because
Right.
if I stayed in LA and I stayed with him, he got so close to getting physical with me that
Hmm.
if I had ended up pregnant with him, I probably would have got my stomach punched in or something like that. I
Right.
don't know. I
Right.
may not be able to have children. I don't know. So
Hmm.
God saw a bigger picture than I had seen, and He's like, "Okay, I need you where you're safe, essentially." So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna follow." And greatest blessing that had ever happened to me, I ended up having a little girl in
Hmm.
August of 2020, and I couldn't be happier. And like,
Beautiful.
basically, if you just listen to God, He'll guide you in the right direction, and He will hand you all the puzzle pieces you need to put your life together and see the whole
Hmm.
picture. And once you have all those puzzle pieces, you just explode in excitement and
Yes.
joy. And just nothing but blessings. Like, it's that simple. Just listen and you get blessed. It's a hard concept
Yes.
for most people, but it's honestly the best.
Right. So you definitely made, like we were talking about, out of what could be a negative situation, you made it a positive, and
Mm-hmm.
literally everything you went through, like we talked about, just build you, mold you, shape you, make you to who you are now, and like you said, you had this beautiful little girl, and now you're just growing and flowing in different things. I even heard when you said like how you were blessed with hearing issue and blessed with the speech,
Mm-hmm.
like, did your parents tell you at an early age, like, this is not a curse, or this is not, it's okay. You're unique. You're, like you said, you're
Mm-hmm.
different. We're all different. How did you start looking at that? I mean, I think that's awesome, because just like, you having a child, I had a child at an early age, but it was a blessing for me, because I always said that was my saving grace. You know what I mean?
Right.
It made me, it pushed me, it made me want to be better. It made, whatever it was, what was used for it's like they say, God is the way, and He knows the plans, like we said. And so,
Mm-hmm.
whatever way that is, my way, pretty much could have been what I did. I ended up, doing this young and all that, and got
Right.
pregnant young. You know what I mean? But that made me who I am today. And I mean, I still wouldn't take it back. And like you said, the things you went through, you had to go through bad relationships to know what a good one looks like, to
Exactly.
know how to appreciate it. So did they teach you as a child, like, no, this is a blessing. You're different. You're unique. What would you say with that part?
Pretty much. So my parents are both from opposite realms of society, you can say. My dad's family was a little bit more pretentious, a little
Hmm.
bit. My grandmother was a traditional Irish woman. My grandfather was he was Italian, but he was adopted into a German family.
Hmm.
So he was raised more German, but we still have, like, you can't change your roots. Like, you still have your
That's
Italian
right.
tendencies that come with just being Italian, type of thing.
Hmm.
Like, I'm from California. I live in Tennessee now, but you can't take my California side out of me. But I also grew up a little bit in Tennessee, and Tennessee humbled me tremendously. Like, you can't take Tennessee out of me when I'm in California. Like, it just
Right.
doesn't work like that. So like with my dad, they are a little bit more not brushed under the rug,
Hmm.
but like image is kind of a big thing in his side of the family. My mom's side of the family, they're just like a hot mess. Like, my mom's the young my mom's the youngest of seven, and all of her siblings, the closest one in age was like 16 years. Like, she was 16 years old when my mom was born.
Hmm.
And so, like, my mom was raised as an only child, but she
Right.
was raised with a dysfunctional family, because in the 50s
Hmm.
and earlier, they the when my grandparents would have a child, the police department would come in and take their kids away, because back then
Mm.
they were considered handicapped because they were deaf.
Okay.
So my mom's
Mm.
siblings were all taken away from my grandparents. My mom was the
Wow.
only one raised with them. So my mom comes from, and by the grace of God, also all of her siblings were able to come together. Like, I was able to meet every single one except for
Wow.
one. He passed away in the 80s, so I wasn't able to meet him. But if he had lived, through 2000, yeah, I would have met
Mm-hmm.
him. But I was able to
Right.
meet every single one of my mom's siblings, which was a blessing because they were all taken away.
Right.
So,
That is awesome.
right, like
Yeah.
God is amazing. People don't realize sometimes, or like you
Mm-hmm.
have no idea.
Right.
But
Right.
because of my mom's background, and my dad's intelligent, so he's just like he accepted us. Like, we were accepted as we were. And my mom's like, no, embrace that. Like, embrace it, because it makes you who you are. Like, yeah, you can run from it, but you take everything with you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you were born deaf for a reason. You had ear issues for a reason. You were raped for a reason. You were called Satan for a reason. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know that you are not Satan? Yes, I know I'm not Satan. Okay. Do you know that you are not a complete victim as being raped? Yes, mom, I
Yeah.
know that it made
Mm-hmm.
me stronger. It didn't break me. And she's like, okay, do you know that you can inspire somebody with being born deaf, having experimental surgery, and that you
Right.
overpowered all of that? Yes, mom, I
Mm-hmm.
do know that. Okay, well, why are you playing the victim? Okay, mom, I won't play the
Wow.
victim anymore.
Right. Right.
So it was definitely instilled into me from a young age to
Mm-hmm.
grow and embrace it. The thing that I was struggled with, that has slowly followed up with me in my 20s, it
Mm-hmm.
takes time, was my confidence. I didn't have
Mm.
confidence up until I went to cosmetology school and I learned how to do my hair and do my makeup and actually be presentable. I was like, okay, cool. I know how to, like, present myself, versus just, and then once you get to that point, I'm like, okay, now I educated myself on a bunch of different things. Now I have
Mm-hmm.
the knowledge to present myself on that way. And because of, like, life decisions that has happened, that I have chosen to take, and that has, been chosen for me, I also have a lot of life experience, that my goal in life is to help others with their trauma.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's also how I got into, I'm also a personal trainer. How I
Mm-hmm.
got into the fitness world is trauma lives in you. If you don't face your trauma, you don't deal with your trauma, it lives inside your body, and your body will show it.
Mm-hmm.
Your body shows everything. You cannot hide from your body. You cannot hide
Right.
from your trauma. Whether you did the trauma or somebody else did the trauma, because you can traumatize yourself. I
Mm-hmm.
know firsthand that one. I cheated on my ex with his brother while I was dating him. Not my proudest moments for
Mm-hmm.
myself, but it was a lesson. I learned
Right.
tremendously from there, and that helped grow me and helped reposition me as a human being. If I
Mm-hmm.
didn't make that decision, I don't know where I would be.
Right. Right.
Like, plain and simple. If my grandfather didn't take advantage of me at a young age, I don't know what type of girl I would have been in high school. If I
Right.
didn't have my speech impediment, like, all of it humbled me. I
Mm-hmm.
was
There you go.
physically humbled
Yeah.
off the
Yeah.
bat. And a lot of people, when they come across me, they don't know that I have been humbled and I've been through all of this
Mm-hmm.
from the beginning. Like, I came out of the womb deaf. Like, it
Right.
was,
Right.
I know nothing but trial and triumph and everything
Right.
that like being tested.
Right.
That is what I know. And I know how to
Right.
pass it too, but some experience, right?
Yeah.
So if I didn't go through any of that, I don't know what type of person I would be today. I may be
Mm-hmm.
arrogant. I may be selfish. I may be self-righteous. I may think that, like, I don't know, my stuff don't stink. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. The
Yeah.
movie Mean Girls, I could have been Regina. I don't know.
Right. Right.
But
You know,
because
I heard somebody say one time, I think they were blind, and everybody was, telling this person, oh, I hate to see that you're blind, or I'm sorry, how you do. And the person said, well, honestly, to be blind, they have seen more,
Mm-hmm.
in life than somebody that can see and they're blind. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I
No,
just thought that
100%.
was so powerful because it's true, sad to say, but it is.
Right.
And so that is what I thought about when you said how, showing your uniqueness and how you were taught, that no, you have this, but you're not this, and stuff like that. And so it's definitely, like you said, it's a blessing. You call it a blessing. I mean, somebody would hear that and say, what? Blessing?
Oh,
Yes, it's a
100%.
blessing, and then, like you said, it built, your confidence up. It built to show you who and whose you are. And I always say, when somebody knows that, it's a game changer. Like,
Oh,
your
yeah.
confidence is like what they say, on fleek. You know what I mean? Like, nobody can tell you, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and you need that confidence. You need to know, because if not, you'll just take and be tossed around and believe whatever said to you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So in all that, that just built you up. But like you said, in going through that, it still shows us humility. It shows us that, oh my goodness, I'm thankful, I'm better, there's hope. And then you go back and you reach down and you want to help others and show them
Exactly.
that, because many people, I mean, I do life coaching. I found, talk to many people that want to stay victimized,
They
for
don't know
whatever
how.
reason,
They
and
don't know
it's,
how to release it. That's
yeah.
that's the problem. Is like when you're a victim, it's you. It's easy to stay the victim.
Mm-hmm,
It's
mm-hmm.
easy to get the woe is me.
It's
I'm
easier.
sorry
Yeah.
for you. All of that, but what the victim does is it hinders you from growth.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you are weakening yourself, breaking yourself down. Like that's happened, like once you go through rape, that's I'm just gonna that's the most plain blank that I can explain this. Um, so once you go through that, the hardest part isn't the action of getting raped.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
The trauma is your mentality after.
That's right. Your mind. Yeah.
Your mind controls everything inside of your body.
Powerful.
It is
Mm-hmm.
the most right. It is the most powerful thing. There's a reason why we are only allotted 10% of our brain. Because if we were to open up and hit 100%, what would we need God for?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Come on.
he created us to be in his image. If he allotted
Right.
us the 100%, we wouldn't need him, and he knows that. So
Mm-hmm.
he's like, here's 10%, but you're only allowed. We have access to 100%, but it's only allotted 10% at a time. That's why
Right.
things are locked away and can't remember or whatever. Because you're not ready for that 10%.
Come on. That's right. Yeah.
So when you're victimized like that, you're just breaking yourself down, and your brain is telling your body, hold on to that trauma because I have no
Mm.
idea where else to put it. So
Right.
instead of you releasing it and everything and gaining a confidence, and this is going to go into like physical attributes,
Mm-hmm.
instead of keeping your skinny body that you've had, because we were all created to be skinny
Healthy.
and
Mm-hmm.
healthy, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
When you go through that trauma and you do not accept yourself as a victim, yes, absolutely say, okay, I'm a victim in that moment, but now I'm a
Mm-hmm.
survivor. Once
That's
you
right.
hit, if you're getting held, not to get too like into it, but if you're getting held down and there's nothing you can do and you're getting raped and everything, the only way that you stay that victim is if they choke you to death.
Right.
Once you get done and you get let up, you're now a survivor.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it is. You went from being, oh my good, like, God help me, please help me. God's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, get off of her. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's the only person that's going to get them off of you.
That's
Get off
right.
them. That's when you become a survivor, and God's like, you're welcome. Here, now you have a story. Go help somebody else.
That's right.
I didn't do this so you can stay a victim. I did this so you can inspire.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I saved you so you can inspire. Satan did this to you. I saved you.
That's right. That's
Go
right.
get my name out there. Go save somebody else because you can. I'm
Mm-hmm.
giving you the ammo you need to blow Satan up. Do
Right.
this. And a lot of people don't see it that way. It's like everything is handed to you by God.
Mm-hmm.
My
Mm-hmm.
child, blessed to me by God, because I listened to him and I drove 2,000 miles away from my
Right.
hometown. And, I was like, okay, I'm taking a leap of faith. As soon as I did
Mm-hmm.
that, God's like, here's your child. And not even here's your child. Like, my daughter doesn't know her dad. She's never met him.
Right.
May meet him, may not. That's on God's plans.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever God wants to do about it. But he's like, here's your angel. Here's your gift
Mm-hmm.
for listening. It's like,
Right.
thank you for listening to me. Now
Mm-hmm.
here's unconditional love. This is what love
Knows
feels
what you
like.
need. Yeah, knew what you
Exactly.
needed. Yeah, yeah.
So, like, just get out of the victim mentality.
Right. Because you're just holding. I always say it's kind of like you can be 60 years old, but if something happened to you at 10, you're still that 10-year-old.
Oh,
And
100.
that looks very ridiculous. I mean, you know what I mean? Really. And I always say age has nothing to do with anything. I mean, of course, it should, you know what I mean, as far as like the maturity side of it, but it's not always the case because, yes, the victim, the unforgiveness, all that holds you back. It makes you stagnant. Like you said, with your health side, it builds up cancers and
Mm-hmm.
different things in your body. Like it's so much that comes with not being healed, not being free, but wanting to stay a victim when you can be free. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even when you were talking about that, the scripture came up, Isaiah 45:7, that talks about I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. And
Mm-hmm.
so how you were saying, like, it was just for the hope. It was just for to show that, no, I didn't do this to you. I allowed it, but you really grabbed hold to what I allowed it for. Now you can go help and show someone else, how they don't have to be the victim, how they now
Exactly.
can be a survivor, survivor. Like you said, they were. Yes, I, admit, I know I was a victim, but now I'm a survivor, and even with you now, you're thriving now. You're a thriver now. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because we have another topic coming up as well about the benefits of being a believer. And to me, your testimony really goes with that. I mean, we all are testimonies, but that these are benefits that you're receiving now. You're thriving, you're stronger, you're better. And I know you said something about the number that you would always see, the number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's complete, that's fullness. And so now you're able to receive and walk in all of that and receive the benefits, to whereas had you stayed and seen it the other way around, to see that it wasn't something to help you be stronger, something to help build you, something to help create you, then it would be the opposite. But you didn't hold back in that victim stance.
I
You,
wasn't allowed
you
to.
right, right,
I
right.
was not allowed to. But I
And
mean,
that's what we all should do.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. Like I said in the beginning, there's always a blessing in the curse,
Hmm.
but there's always the curse in the blessing too. You
Hmm.
just have to know which one is which. Like when new people come into my life, right? I talk to people every day.
Hmm.
My not my first instinct, but I try not to prejudge. I don't get paid high enough, That's I don't want to be sending nobody to hell. That's God's job. I don't want that job, that's for sure.
Right.
Like, no thanks. If it was up
Right.
to me, I don't care what you did. We're all chilling in heaven. Like, that's me. But I'm because of my past experience and everything, I'm able to see people through the BS that they.
We went out again.
Still hear me?
Okay.
Is it working?
Yeah, I just can't see you. I can hear you though.
Why is it not working? I can't hear anything.
Okay, you said can you hear now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just keep talking because I can't hear anything. I forgot my train of thought. Dag nabbit. Basically, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. No matter how dark that tunnel is, there's always a light. No matter what. Like, that's, God doesn't let us down. He doesn't let you go through anything you can't handle.
Right.
And that's one thing that has always helped me through all of it is, you know, this is a trial right now. This is a test. What's going to happen at the end of the test? I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to have a story to tell. I'm going to help somebody. And it's all through the grace of God.
Right.
And as with the victim mentality, and to get out of it, you got to forgive yourself for being in that position. Then you got to forgive God for allowing that position to happen. And then once you do that, that's all you need to do. You can choose to forgive, you know, your assaulter. You can choose to forgive whoever did you wrong, but you don't have to speak to them ever again.
That's
you don't have to see them again. You don't have to have anything to speak their name again. If somebody has that same name, you'd be like, no, I can't be friends with you, sorry. Or, you know, you don't have to, you know, be involved with that. But there will be triggers for the rest of your life. That's for dang sure. Like, you can't stop that. But as long as you forgive yourself and you forgive God, there's nothing else that will be holding you back. Because, like, that, it's just forgiveness. It's the grudge that you're holding on to. It's the hatred you're holding on to. But when you let that go, you're free. Free from the victim mentality, free from that incident, and you just dealt with it. It's, you know, it's pretty. It comes across complicated, but it's very simple.
Right, and you know, like you said too, you know, you don't want to hold your own hands around your own throat. You know, like you said, when you're going through it, you know, God is trying to take the hands off of your neck, you know, and give you to where you can be free, and then you can walk into the survivor part of it. But some people still just hold the hands around their own throat. And so, and then you were saying how God won't give us more. Well, I'm saying, you know, how you were saying it. I think sometimes people take on stuff on their own, you know, because, you know, he don't want to give you more than you can bear. But what are you trying to bear? When, you know, that's where our help comes from, is from him. So we definitely have to release that, you know, like you said, forgive, take our own hands off our own throat, you know, acknowledge it, admit it or whatever, but then become the survivor. And then, like how we're seeing Hilary, and then thrive from there. So I guess in a nutshell, if there's anything that you just want to give, I know you've said it already, but just somebody that may be listening to this, that, you know, just any word or encouragement, or, I mean, you gave it already, but if there's anything else that you would like to just say moving forward, I know this is going to bless, people. I'm not even just going to say somebody. I know it's going to bless people, because we don't know how many have been through rape, how many had a speech, you know, impediment, or the blessing of it, the blessing of hearing, situation and everything like that. So to be able to hear somebody, and even to see, you know, with the relationship situations, how you were with one, you know, the guy, and then he, you know, y'all were in the word and this, that, and the other, and then he left and he came back and you were the devil. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to hear this, and I know that somebody else will be like, wow, you know, this is awesome. And to know that now, You're a personal trainer, you have a beautiful little girl. You're continuing to thrive in life. You're better, you're stronger, you're humble, you're complete, you're full. So would there be anything that you would want to say before we end it today?
So I have no idea what you said because I can't hear anything.
Oh,
I don't know. I think my phone's acting up.
okay. Well, I think we pretty much heard. We've been having little technical things. That's okay, because I know that this is going to bless people. And I'm just thankful that she came on here in obedience to share with us on today her testimony and how she's overcame, how she's stronger, better, complete, full, whole. She's a thriver. And remember, she is a personal trainer. So if anybody wants to know about that, reach out and we can give you the information on that. Or I can also tag it on the video when I post it and everything like that. And continue to know we Be Made Well. We also have sweatshirts. You can't hardly see this one, but this is a sweatshirt. We have bags now and everything if you want to purchase that. But I'll go ahead, since we've having the technical difficulties, and pray, and then we'll go ahead and sign off. We definitely love you all. We want you to be blessed, and we definitely continue to root for you all. And again, we thank Hilary for coming on here and sharing. And so I'll go ahead and pray. God, we thank you for her and her obedience, for her sharing, for her overcoming. We thank you for the connection with her, the partnership, how you are going to increase her, and she is continuing to thrive. And even anybody that has suffered anything and these kind of similarities, that they will also be able to share their testimony to show hope to someone that they have overcome, that nobody but God does that, and the benefits of being a believer and knowing that. So I just thank you for that we don't have to stay victimized, but we can thrive and survive. And so I just thank you for whoever will listen to this, that this will be such a blessing, and just moving forward to just be of help to each other, committing and staying humble to you, God, and knowing that we are being who you create us to be through it all. And we just thank you either way that it goes, God, and we're blessed beyond measure. We give you glory for it, honor in your son Jesus' name. I pray on today. Amen. All right, everyone, definitely be blessed. Until next time.